Good day guys and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ademola Badmos. If this is your first time, please do not forget to like and subscribe. So in the previous video, we've been able to create the project. Now what we need to do is in this video we want to edit the Android config, and also now then in the next video we would edit the iOS config. So let us get right into it. So for the Android config, the first things that we'll do is we would add some imports. We'll just add one import actually. We'll add one import. So, and the import that we are going to add is this. Remember, I'm writing this in JavaScript, so I'm going to use a CommonJS method type and not an ESM method type. An ESM method means I will need to use imports, so I'll use a CommonJS method. So I'm going to import this. Why? Because I want to create a folder, right? And the folder I want to create would have the Appium logs. In case I run into issues, I will be able to get some logs out of it. Okay, so that being said, let's quickly do that. So the other thing I will also do is I will do an Appium. And yes, in case you want to ask, let me just answer. Yes, you can also do this with the previous video. With the previous playlist, you can create this server path to just be able to get your logs and see how things actually run. So I'm going to do this join, and I'm going to use the process, the current work directory, right? Inside this current work directory, then we should be able to pick the node modules, and inside the node modules we have Appium, and after the Appium is the index.js, right? And I can now also decide to log to know that I have a path and all that. I can just write that in the config, but I don't think I need to do that actually. I don't think I need to do that, but just to be sure. So I'm going to console.log. So each time it runs in the console, we will have a server path to know that there's an Appium server running. And also I can also just ensure that we have what's it called? We have a log documented somewhere, right? So let's have this. Let's call it Appium log. It's going to be a text file. Okay. So with this done, we've started something. Now we already have our runner that is local. We have the ports, so we could also add the path. In the path would be this, right? And with this done, we can begin to go ahead and change some things. Okay, we shouldn't have an issue here. So what's the problem? Okay, I know the issue. This is the issue. I didn't put a comma here. That has fixed it. So let's go on. So now the most important part is the capability part. So for now, we don't need a browser name because we are not using browser. So the device name would be, we want to use an emulator, so we could use that, or we could just leave that out because it will always pick the available device that we open. So the platform version, we can leave it as 12. We don't really need that. So the automation name is not going to be a UI automator. And if you had picked iOS in the configuration, it will still give you an iOS version here. What it will be is the Flutter Integration. That will be the automation name because that's what we are using. So the other things that we need to add are we can add a grant permission. So we can say Appium auto grant permissions, and we set this flag is a boolean, so we set it to true. And the next one would be we could set a timeout or the orientation. Let's set an orientation. Appium orientation. That means what would the app look like? Is it going to be a portrait or landscape? So we say portrait, right? It's going to stand straight like that in the vertical order. So we could also add there are so many commands that you could add. Let's first get something that is important before we forget that. We need to get the app path, the path that we need. And unlike your traditional apps, where you need an app package name or app activity, for Flutter you don't need that. It would get that itself. So for the app, it is inside our build folder, and we are working from outside the build folder. So we are going to start with this. So it shows that we need to get out of the build folder. We need to get out of our E2E to get it. So we say build app, and it's in outputs, right? Isn't it? What we need is inside outputs, app outputs. Yeah, it's inside outputs, and it's inside Flutter APK. And what we need is the app debug APK. And with this, I think we are good. But I would like to add some other things, because it takes time for for the app to load up. So I will need to add some connection timeout and some launch timeout, and also an app comment timeout. So in case the app didn't load fast enough, the command can stay a bit to look for it. Command time out. Let's set that these ones are integer values, so I'll set it as 240. So let me just copy and paste this. So I'll change the name there. So this one is going to be Flutter server launch timeout. And this one can be set as 30 seconds. They're all in milliseconds value, so this can be set as 30 seconds. Yeah, let me make this one a second. So instead of 240, so I'll make it this, right? And the last one here should be Flutter server connection timeout. Let me copy this. Connection timeout. I'll set this as 30 seconds as well. So I think with this we are good. And after that, we need to also now add more to the services part, because we need two things to work for us in the services part. We need this Flutter buy, which is part of the services that we need. So we need Flutter buy, and we need Appium. Right? So in the Appium, we could add more things to it, like configurations and all of that. But if needs be, yeah, let's even add some things to it. If we want to add some things to it, we would need to make them individual blocks by themselves. If we want to add something to it, so it will make it a bit, because for us to add something to it, you will see now we need to open an arguments folder. So in order to make it, well arranged, this would work for us. So this would work for us. So in order to make it well arranged, so let me add some configuration to Appium. So I will add some arguments, right? And the argument I'm going to add is for it to log something for us. Let it log all our Appium logs somewhere, right? So I can copy that from here because we did something like that. So I will just copy. I will copy this. And I'll take it down here. So it will create some logs for us. So in order to create the log for us, I will do this. But let me put it as this logs.txt. But where it's going to create it is going to put it inside the folder for us. So let me create something else. A folder where it will put it to Appium logs. So let's call it that. So it will do this. Then what else? Let me relax security. Relaxed security. Yeah. Let me relax security. So it should give us unbridled access. And I could set the base parts as I've set it up there. I could set it here as well. Do I need to? Let me just show you. For learning purpose, you could also do this. Put an address, and don't use the local host. Just use the actual IP address. Don't use the local host, right? And one other thing I forgot to mention is if you want to use the real device on iOS, you can't use the semantic label part. We'll get there soon, but I just want you to know in case I forget again, because I wanted to mention it while I was creating the real device IPA, but I forgot. So now that I've remembered, let me just quickly say it. So in case I forget again, you can refer back to this video, but I hope I won't forget. So we can have all of this here and we are good to go, right? So with this done, what else do we need to change? Okay, I think there's something here I usually change. Okay, I think everything is okay for me. Wait time is 10 seconds. Connection retry is a bit long. It's 2 minutes, but it's good. It's good. So now that we've done all of this, this is for Android. Now it looks like Android has taken time. So what we're going to do when we get to iOS is just copy what is here, paste it on iOS. The only part that we need to change in iOS setup will be this place, the capability side. Now, it is possible for you to also do something. Rather than do everything in one file, you could have just created all of this and set up a new configuration file for Android. So you are going to call this the default WebDriver IO config, right? And you will come here, create a separate one that will only carry the capabilities. So you won't have a long script like this. But I prefer to have these two instead of three. So I will have it there, it is repeated, but they work separately, only that they only share the same code. So with this done, we've come to the end of this. So in the next video, I will just copy what is there, then edit for that of iOS, and we can move to writing our script. If you've gotten this far, thank you. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.